our maritime heritage. So if you want to know more, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen. Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. It is also my pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon some of those persons who represent the future of the Cayman Islands. They happen to be employed at the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands, known by the acronym MACI. They are Ms. Krista Carr, who's a Senior Client Service Officer 1, Commercial Services. Mr. Andres McDermott, who's a trainee surveyor, and Mr. Ned Miller. That name sounds familiar in the maritime industry. Mr. Ned Miller, who is a marine inspector. Folks, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Okay, we're going to talk about MACI celebrating its 20th anniversary. But before we get into the meat of the discussion, why don't we have you tell our listening and viewing audience about your role at MACI when you joined, what may have inspired you to join the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands as well. Starting with you, Ms. Krista.
Good afternoon, Mr. OC. My name is Krista Carr, and I'm a Senior Client Service Officer in the Commercial Services. My job at the moment is accounts receivables. And today is actually 19 years since I joined MACI. And I'm a proud employee of that company.
Okay, Mr. Andres. Other than being on a bicycle.
Good afternoon. My name is Andres McDermott. I'm a trainee surveyor with MACI. And I'm pretty much right now just training to be a surveyor. So hopefully soon I'll be the guy who goes on board the ships and does the inspections, the surveys, making sure that the ships are meeting all the codes and regulations and making sure they're seaworthy.
Mm-hmm. And what piqued your interest in maritime surveying?
Well, I've always had a passion for the sea, growing up around boats, and I've always wanted to go into like an engineering field. And so I thought this was the perfect fit. So, yeah.
Okay, and Mr. Miller, Mr. Ned Miller, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon, yeah. I'm Ned Miller. I'm a marine inspector with the Maritime Authority. Primarily, I focus on the local operations here. So I do port state control, which is us as the Cayman Islands inspecting foreign flagged ships that are here in our waters. So tankers, the ships that the cargo ships and the cruise ships. Also, I focus on like I said, the local operations. So local craft, the dive boats, the charter boats, local fishing vessels. I've always been, if you know my last name, you know my family's always been, has always been involved with this in one way or another, the maritime industry here in the Cayman Islands. And particularly, I've always wanted to have something to do with what's going on here locally. I've always wanted to have a hand in that and trying to help the local industries here improve and operate safely.
Okay. Just want to do some housekeeping as well. We want to remind our listeners and our viewers, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to our WhatsApp number. That WhatsApp number is 925-3261 because we simply don't have enough time to open up the phone lines. But if you have a question or a comment, or you may want to big up these 3 young Caymanians here in the studio as well, send those comments to our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. So for those listeners and viewers who don't know much about the Maritime Authority, why don't you give us a history of that? Tell us about the Maritime Authority.
The Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands is the statutory body responsible for regulating the maritime industry, both within the Cayman Islands and internationally, through the Cayman Islands Shipping Registry. As a Category 1 British registry, MACI is committed to maintaining the highest standards of vessel registration, safety, compliance, and maritime excellence.
Okay. Now, we know sometimes, when certain entities are established in the Cayman Islands for well-intentioned purposes, there are questions in relation to, how does this help the Cayman Islands? How does it contribute to the Cayman Islands? And, when we're talking about maritime issues, what better place? The only other country that I could venture to say that we would be compared with would be Greece, with so many islands and their maritime history as well. But we here in the Cayman Islands have an extremely rich maritime history. That is why we're celebrating it now and celebrating our seafarers as well. So why don't we talk about how does MACI contribute to the Cayman Islands?
Sure, I can take that one there.
Okay.
So we contribute to the Cayman Islands through a number of different ways. Primarily through vessel registration. So that's not only registering vessels here, but internationally. As you know, we are a very large flag throughout the world, but we're also what's known as a white flag, high standard flag, high quality flag. We contribute to the economy through registering these ships, and we also contribute to international safety. We help to write regulations not just for us here, but throughout the world. We've been hand in hand working to develop the REG code, the III audits. We've been part of that very closely. All in all, we primarily work through bringing in those fees, and that contributes to the local economy, of course, but also we're a decent employer here on island too. So we employ a number of Caymanians here within the registry.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago going to France on a cycling trip and going to Saint-Tropez, and I was so enthralled by the ships there. I would walk on the piers and just look to see how many boats on the stern of the vessel were saying registered in Georgetown, Grand Cayman. I just walk around counting them as well. I know that you have specific talking points, and I'm not going to get you in any trouble. And if you do, just blame me to your bosses as well. But you're talking about us being a white flag jurisdiction, right? We know, for instance, National Bulk and many other companies. Liberian Registry was a huge thing. Panamanian Registry was a huge thing as well. How do we compare and contrast to those jurisdictions?
We view a quality over quantity when it comes to flagging in ships. There are a number of registries that might be larger than us, but by focusing on quality shipping, it allows us to maintain that white flag status. And that's what that white flag status refers to. High quality ships, high quality crew, crew welfare. We respond to our clients very quickly. If any of our ships or any of our clients are ever in need of advice or help, we are there as quickly as possible.
So we're not a flag of convenience.
No. We are very proud to know we are not a flag of convenience. We are a high standard white flag.
Yes.
Okay, folks, I'll tell you what, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Miss Krista Carr, who is the Senior Client Service Officer 1, Commercial Services at the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands, Mr. Andres McDermott, who's a trainee surveyor, and the veteran in the room, Mr. Ned Miller, who's the Maritime Inspector. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
Get ready to celebrate the sweet, spicy, and sunny side of summer at Mango Fest 2025. Join us at the National Museum on the waterfront on Saturday, July 5th from 2 to 7 p.m. for a fun-filled afternoon of mango competitions, mango cocktails, crafts, games, local food, and more. Don't miss the mango peeling and eating contest. Bring the whole family and soak up the sweet and spicy flavors of summer at Mango Fest 2025. Saturday, July 5th from 2 to 7 p.m. at the National Museum. Mango Fest is proudly presented by the Cayman Islands National Museum.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
A little more detail into that.
All of them if you want.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us, I am your guest host. My name is Orrett Connor, and it's my pleasure to have in the studio with me this afternoon representatives from the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands. They are Ms. Krista Carr, who is the Senior Client Service Officer with the Commercial Services Department, Mr. Andres McDermott, who's a trainee surveyor, and Mr. Ned Miller, who's a maritime inspector. So earlier we were talking about how MACI contributes to the Cayman Islands. Ms. Krista, you want anything that you want to add to those areas that we contribute to as well?
As the establishment that
Yes.
MACI continues to do. So strengthen the Cayman Islands' position as a top performing flag state, expand its global presence and the Cayman Islands Vessel Registry, implement critical international maritime safety, security, and pollution prevention regulations and technical codes, oversee seafarer welfare through enforcement of the Maritime Labor Convention, execute the Cayman Islands' responsibilities under the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, on port state controlled, advise the government on both international and local maritime policy matters, spearhead the development and modernization of the key maritime legislation, and last, lead in the advance of the Raid Ensign Group, REG Yacht Code. MACI plays a pivotal role in ensuring the Cayman Islands remain a respected and influential player in the global maritime sector.
Okay, and I'm going to come back over to you, Mr. Miller. For those persons who don't know what the Raid Ensign Group Yacht Code is all about, could you explain that in layman's terms for us?
As much as I can.
Okay.
I'm never here to. I'm very careful before I ever claim to be an expert on anything. That's setting yourself up for failure. But the Red Ensign Yacht Code is a framework for the operations of commercial yachts. It sets standards for safety on board the ships, on board the yachts, that covers everything from fire safety, pollution prevention, safety of the crews on board, operational guidelines. Like I said, the idea behind it is we came together as Red Ensign countries, so ourselves, UK, and a number of other Red Ensign. That's, of course, being the red backing on the flag, Maritime Jack, to kind of work together and create a code that would cover as much as possible and be as comprehensive as possible.
Okay, and then now, how is MACI helping the Cayman Islands meet our international maritime standards and obligations?
So we worked with, we were instrumental in helping the IMO, that's the International Maritime Organization, is the governing body out of the UN, to help develop the III code. This was another framework, legal framework, that helps maritime administrations meet key safety standards and indicators. So we worked on coordinating this cross-government efforts as well as preparations both within the port and ourselves to help meet these requirements.
Okay, now I know earlier we spoke about your role at MACI, but I want to dive down a little bit deeper. And rather than just saying, I'm a client's services officer, commercial services, as much as you can tell us, without giving away any trade secrets or company secrets.
Okay, so for me, I do accounts receivables. So I'm the person that when the money comes into the bank account, I do all the receipting for invoices that is set out to each client.
And where would this money normally come from?
Overseas.
I'm going to do the due diligence part
overseas.
Of things now. Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of fees.
Fees. Yes. Whether it's a survey or a crew or
flagging in or some registration.
When the money comes in the bank account, I'm the one that responsible for receiving that to make sure everything is properly done.
Okay, and we're going to leave the trainee for the last on this one. So, Mr. Miller, for you as well. And the other question, do you get an opportunity to travel during the course of your work to other jurisdictions for purposes, and what would they normally entail?
Oh, absolutely. Because of the nature of the industry, it's a lot cheaper for us to go to the ships than it is for the ship to come to here. In fact, myself, as part of my training, they sent me over to the UK and Gibraltar. Trained at the Warsash Maritime Academy in the UK, did firefighting training, first aid training there, tanker loading courses there. And then over to Gibraltar, I spent about 3 weeks in Gibraltar working with their maritime administration, doing basically on-the-job training there, where they were taking me out to, because Gibraltar is the gateway to the Mediterranean. It's a massive shipping lane, and part of their port states requirements. They have a large pool of inspections they can do out there with ships coming through, and they included me in that, which was quite an experience. That was only my second time ever being over to Europe, and so got dropped in the deep end there.
Now, with so many vessels registered in the Cayman Islands, how do you then go about ensuring compliance if they don't come here? Do you have to go to every vessel, or how does it work?
We work with classification societies. Those are private entities that have the knowledge and training within their staff to handle some of the ships that we have on the registry. Not for everything, but for certain cases. Other than that, we will send our surveyors. We have a large pool. We have offices and remote contractors all over the world. Whoever's closest, basically, whoever's available. Several of my coworkers have recently been to Singapore, over in Fiji. They were over in Fiji as well. Wherever the ship is where we need to be, because we have to get on board to actually get our hands on what's on board there to make sure that they're following the laws and the regulations adequately.
Okay. And then once that is done, what is this certifying process like? You issue, let's say, for instance, if you were an elevator inspector, you'd put You have the card
that
in
little
the elevator, and you say the date, and you sign it, and whatever.
And you get really worried when you realize how long it was last inspected. Yeah.
How does it work in the maritime industry?
Fairly similarly, actually. There is a certification regime and process. A number of, like the REG code, for example, has a certificate that has a 5-year validity period.
Mm-hmm.
So from the date of issuance to 5 years from there, and each year subsequently we will go on board to do what's called an annual inspection. And that will be a somewhat truncated version of the renewal or initial inspection. And part of that is, checking to make sure that not only were they meeting the requirements when we got on board the first time, but that they have the tools and the framework on board to continue to meet the requirements.
Okay, Mr. Andres, the trainee, tell us about your training. And at some point in time, I would also want you to say, for those persons who may have an interest in the maritime industry and joining MACI here in the Cayman Islands, tell us about your experience and what advice you would give to them.
Okay, cool. Yes, I've been employed with MACI for the past just over 3 years now, and I've been balancing helping with the day-to-day survey and technical queries and plan reviews, stuff like that, while also furthering my knowledge, learning and training to being the surveyor, the guy that Ned was speaking about that goes to Fiji, that goes overseas to inspect these yachts. And part of my training, I got some sea time. I was on 2 ships, about 2 months each. I was on a chemical tanker from Houston all the way to Japan.
Wow.
Went through the Panama Canal. That was a really good experience. Felt like my forefathers through my blood. But that was just from Panama to Japan alone. That was 27 days at sea, no land. It was quite an experience. And then I was on another ship for 2 months in Patagonia, in Chile, and as a research vessel. And I was working on the deck and in the engine room, just learning as much as I can, so that when I go to do these surveys, I have a better understanding of what it's actually like to be on board and just the systems and everything.
Okay.
And then what else? I've done a bit of training. And then I've also been doing a lot of training with our surveyors on the yachts and ships. So I've been joining on the surveys and taking notes, learning, and then now I've been actually leading the surveys. So I've been thrown into the deep end. I do it, and I have the surveyor observing me and giving me feedback.
Great. Are you involved in any accident investigations as well, or that doesn't form a part of your remit?
We do have requirements on any of our ships, or if instances take place within our waters, to do casualty investigations. Casualty, of course, does not necessarily mean that a person has passed. It's more in relation to the incident itself. I can't speak of any specific cases, obviously, but there have been some recently where we've had incidences with some of our ships, and we have been working with whatever the port state in that area was to determine root causes and put in place directives to keep things like that from happening again.
Okay. We're going to take our last commercial break. You see how quickly all of this went? So far, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Ms. Krista Carr, who is the Senior Client Service Officer 1, Commercial Services at Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Andres McDermott, who's a trainee surveyor, been there for 3 years. Goes to show you how intense that training is. He's still training, after 3 years. And, of course, the veteran in the room, Mr. Ned Miller, who's a marine inspector as well. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Get ready, the fire of revival is coming. It's the great evangelistic campaign, Cayman Islands under the power of the Holy Ghost. Guest speaker Apostle Jose Duarte from Paraguay will be ministering throughout Grand Cayman, bringing a powerful word and the anointing of the Holy Spirit. Services begin Friday, June 27 at First Assembly of God and run through June 9. Don't miss the services in West Bay on June 30 and July 1 at Heritage Park and in Bordentown on July 3 at Public Beach. Come for healing, come for breakthrough, come experience the power of the Holy Ghost. For full schedule details, call Sister Vilma Hawkins at 923-8954.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're talking about the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands, their 20th anniversary. We're talking with Miss Krista Carr, Mr. Andres McDermott, and Mr. Ned Miller. We're going to talk now about the scholarships, and I wonder how many of you have had a chance to be involved in MACI's Scholarship Career Fair initiatives, and tell us about the experience, what it was like.
Okay, so us at MACI, we spend a lot of time promoting and trying to get young people to join the registry. Mm-hmm. We would like to see more young people. After Ned, I think the next person was me, and that was how much of a gap? A few years?
Oh, at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And we'd like to work on that, improve that, and create a new. We don't have our maritime heritage like how we used to, with people going to sea. But this is another way we can kind of continue with that. But in order to do that, we do a lot of career fairs. All of the career fairs with John Gray, Clifton Hunter, even UCCI. UCCI. We're there, the BRAC as well. We offer a scholarship with the government, and that is for almost anything marine related. Yeah. So I had it. I studied naval architecture and marine engineering in the UK, but it also applies to maritime law if you wanted to get a degree in that. I think even if you wanted to be a captain or seafarer.
I don't want to quote anything possibly. It also does, naval architecture, marine engineering.
It's quite broad.
It's very broad. I can't actually remember the entire list now because it actually takes up like half the flyer.
Okay. And can we talk about the dateline for applying for this scholarship and give out some information in relation to the contact details as well?
Sure. So every year it's offered by the Cayman Islands government. You must be Caymanian to apply, and the deadline for applications is January the 31st annually. For more information, you can contact humanresources@cishipping.com. That's humanresources@cishipping.com.
And it must be focused on maritime.
Correct.
Maritime industry.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So as we celebrate 20 years at MACI, and Miss Krista, you said you've been there for 19
Today is 19 years,
yes.
exact.
Yes. So you can almost say you were there from the beginning. I want to know from all of you, what is it that excites you, about being at MACI? You all, display a vast amount of knowledge and wealth based on what you've been doing so far, and you seem extremely enthusiastic. Off the mic, no one has told me, well, I'm thinking about going to another department. No, I don't. None of you have said that. So you're quite comfortable where you are.
Yes.
What makes it so exciting?
When I started MACI, I've been basically within MACI. Management tends to cross-train, whether it's overseas in our different offices or on island. So when I started in MACI, I was in the administration HR department, and then I wanted to be the first Caymanian female surveyor. That didn't happen, of course, but I was in the survey department as a secretary, and then I moved into the commercial services. Like I said, where I do accounts receivable, and at the moment I'm getting ready to learn registration. So I think that's the last part of me in MACI now to do within the whole organization. Beside the surveyor, is to learn registration, and I'm excited to be dealing with clients abroad and as well as local clients to register vessels.
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Probably my favorite part about what I do right now is, as I said, is my heart is really in the local operations. It's a big pool of local craft here and local operators we have, and it's sort of been the Wild West for a very long time in terms of how things operate. And I'm hoping that I can be a hand in trying to bring a little bit of order to that and kind of helping just the guys operating here to be a little more safe, a little more confident, and a little more up to date.
Okay. So we've spoken about, youth development, about a strong emphasis on engaging the next generation. What about sustainability?
Just so you can have that one.
Okay.
I'll leave it to Andres.
Go ahead, Andres.
Sustainability. How do we... Well, just within our jobs, pushing pollution prevention. That's one of our main aspects when we go on board and do these surveys. Even when we do ports at control, pollution prevention is one of the...
It gets treated, honestly, it's, as you're saying, pollution prevention, when we're on board doing port states especially, is one of the most critical factors we look at. There's a number of different regulations we check against, one of the most recent ones being ballast water management. Up until relatively recently, it wasn't realized just the level of environmental threat that organic organisms getting transported via ballast tank can be. Now that we're working within those frameworks, it's helping us to keep our waters a little bit safer.
Okay. Will the digital transformation age, how will that affect MACI, and how can you prepare yourselves, for that, including AI?
I don't know anything about the AI front, but what I can say is with the digital age, it's already affected us. We've already shifted to digital issuance of certifications to a number of our ships. We're moving further and further away from the paper style of operations to pretty much all digital now. I think the only thing there's only 1 or 2 documents that are still issued physically.
I think even going into the future further, we're going to see digitally and AI with we're gonna have autonomous vessels. You can see crewing change. We're gonna have electronic lookouts. So instead of having an actual person there keeping an eye out, you're gonna have cameras and AI picking out, seeing things, doing that for you. And it's gonna be really interesting in the next couple decade even.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, we already have an autonomous vessel operating, not necessarily in our waters, but within the Caribbean area. Sail Drone is currently operating. She's an autonomous sailing vessel.
Yeah.
With the number of cruise ships that call in the Cayman Islands, does MACI have any extended responsibility for the cruise industry here in Cayman?
Only insofar as it is for those ships meeting the relevant regulations. Part of that is crew well-being, of course. There's a Maritime Labor Convention that governs crew member pay, crew member employment, and that is one of the things we check when we're doing port state. But primarily, we are focused on safety and compliance for the regulatory frameworks that apply to the ships.
Okay, I want to give you each an opportunity for some closing comments, and I want each of you to look into your crystal ball and tell me, or tell our listening and viewing audience, where you see MACI being in the next 20 years, as well. Starting with you, Ms. Krista.
Oh, wow. I'm just going to read something here.
Sure.
Many people are not fully appreciate the depth and complexity of MACI's work. Our responsibility extends far beyond vessel registration. We are deeply involved in technical regulation, international maritime compliance, and policy development at both global and local levels. MACI plays a critical role in upholding maritime safety, security, and environmental standards. Additionally, on the international stage, the Cayman Islands is recognized as the leading flag state for super yachts, testament to the trust and confidence placed in the quality and credibility of our registry.
And it keeps getting better and better.
And it keeps getting better and better.
Okay, Mr. Andres.
20 years, that's a long time. But I just see the registry growing more and more. Just our performance year on year, it's getting better and better. So I see we already are the leader in super yachts, and I see us maintaining that and just growing upon it. And maybe implementing, just building more safer regulations for everyone, and just making the world a safer place on the sea.
Yep, and keeping the Cayman Islands on the map.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Well, as my colleagues here have said, absolutely growing. I don't see us slowing down anytime soon. And the industry is ever changing and ever evolving. Regulations change as new technologies become available. As you asked about AI, I don't know what the future is going to be with that, but I imagine that we'll have to keep up with it. Every month we've got new updates to pre-existing laws coming out, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay, and just for the benefit of those who may have an interest, and to prompt them to maybe develop an interest in the MACI scholarship, why don't we repeat that information for them? The dateline, of course, that's passed, but January 31st is not too far away again.
Yes.
Okay, so 31st of January, and the contact details.
It's human.resources@cishipping.com.
Okay, lady and gentlemen, it was a pleasure interviewing you. We wish the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands a very happy 20th. We hope that based on our conversation here today, that more Caymanians will develop an interest in our maritime industry. We may not be able to bring it back to where it was when we had so many men going to see national bulk carriers and all of the various shipping companies. But certainly we want to continue to celebrate our maritime history here in the Cayman Islands. I want to thank the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands for all that they do to keep the Cayman Islands prominent on the world map as well. Folks, with that, we're going to take a commercial break. Later on, we should have members from the Health Services Authority in the studio with us, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
One radio station.
Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. At around 9:30 p.m. on the 29th of June, a masked man armed with a machete robbed a convenience store on Reverend Blackman Road in West Bay, fleeing with cash. Police investigations revealed he escaped in a vehicle. Officers later located the car and arrested two men, ages 30 of Georgetown and 29 of Northside, on suspicion of robbery. The 29-year-old also faces drug charges after suspected controlled substances were found. Both remain in custody as the investigation continues. In regional news in Belize, the Public Service Union says most of its members support the Belize government's latest wage proposal, a 4.5% salary increase from October and 4% more from 2026, with long-frozen increments paid from 2026. PSU President Dean Flowers believes other unions, including the APSSM and BNTU, may follow. The joint union negotiation team, seeking an 8.5% hike and minimum wage boost, is reviewing the offer. Flowers emphasized union transparency and predicts broad alignment on the deal. Guyana plans to unveil a new biodiversity-focused financing proposal at the Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit, scheduled to run from the 23rd through the 25th of July, advancing its low-carbon development strategy by 2030. Advisor Kevin Hogan said the strategy, first launched in 2009, now enters an expanded phase, highlighting biodiversity, water management, and urban sustainability. Guyana previously received US $227 million from Norway for low deforestation. Hogan emphasized Guyana's leadership in global climate policy and its continued push for sustainable development. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Darby Bernard Tibbetts, MBE. Bernard Tibbetts has spent his life serving the people of Caymanian. In his youth, he communicated with the island's ships by radio telephone, keeping seamen in touch with their families. He later became a wireless operator and was transferred to Cable and Wireless when it took over telecommunications in the Cayman Islands. In his 45 years working in communication, he undertook private study, enabling him in his spare time to do photo processing and repair the island's cars, trucks, radios, refrigerators, and air conditioners. He also established a family retail business. He served as president of the Caymanian High School PTA, director of Caymanian Power and Light Company, deacon of Stake Bay Baptist Church, trustee of Little Cayman Baptist Church, and member of the Brack's Hospital Building and Development Committees. In 1983, he was honored by receiving the MBE directly from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Mr. Bernard sings and plays music and has written a number of gospel songs and tracts, as well as a paper about life on Caymanian before the modern era.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor, and our phone lines are open for a while until we have our next guest in the studio. Our toll-free number, which is provided courtesy of Flo, that toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. Now, still lots to talk about as well. Of course, yesterday, the UK's Privy Council issued their ruling on the Katina Anglin appeal, and based on that, we have seen several press releases in relation to the decision, not getting into the details of it, but for instance, here's one coming from the governor's office, and a statement by the acting governor, the Honorable France Manderson, and this was issued yesterday, and it reads, "This morning, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council issued their judgment in the case of Anglin v. Governor of the Cayman Islands. They dismissed the case which had been brought against the governor, concluding that the then governor acted constitutionally in using his reserved powers to legislate to introduce the Cayman Islands Civil Partnership Act 2020, and that adherence to international obligations did fall under the governor's responsibility for external affairs as per our Constitution. As acting governor, I welcome the Privy Council's judgment." And that is all that we actually should expect from the governor's office in that regard. Nothing more, would come out. They won't get into the details of the case itself. And I can talk a little bit more about that as well. Then we had another statement that came out from Mr. I think it's Dr. Leonardo Raznovich as well. That came out, and I'll try to find that for you. And it reads, Colors Caribbean celebrates judgment of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. And he gives a summary. He says that Colors Caribbean welcomes today's judgment of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, JCPC. We see this judgment as a victory for all, not only because it secures the Civil Partnership Act 2020 and related legislation, but fundamentally because it brings much needed clarity that our Bill of Rights is enforceable regardless of the will of a majority in Parliament. Let's all celebrate that. On the last day of Pride Month, this judgment confirms the supremacy of our Constitution and finally puts an end to uncertainty for same-sex couples and opposite-sex couples alike, that their civil partnerships are legally protected. And I think it goes into some other parts of it. It talks about, while we reaffirm our organization's position that Katina Anglin's appeal was contrary to our traditional Cayman kind nature, we do recognize that Ms. Anglin's case ultimately has helped to bring much needed clarity, and arguably not just for the Cayman Islands, but for all British overseas territories. This case has precipitated a unanimous decision of the highest court of the land on two fundamental constitutional points. Those 2 points are, number one, the wrong understanding by some politicians that the Parliament of the Cayman Islands is sovereign and hence can do as it wishes, without regard to our Constitution and to declarations of our courts. And two, the obligation of the United Kingdom government to ensure that international obligations binding upon all British overseas territories are complied with, including, if needed, by the governor's use of Section 81, which is the reserved powers of the governor to legislate where the local government refuses to do so. That is extremely important, what is said there. Number one, that the Parliament of the Cayman Islands is sovereign and hence can do as it wishes without regard to our Constitution and to our declarations of our court, that is not the case. The wrong understanding by politicians that the Parliament of the Cayman Islands is sovereign. You have heard many, including Dr. Steve McPhail, including Mr. Belika Samamba and others, Mr. Arden McLean, talking about the fact that the Parliament of the Cayman Islands, we're not a sovereign, Parliament. It's not supreme, doesn't rule supreme, because at the end of the day, number one, any legislation passed by our Parliament has to be assented to by the governor. And what parliament in the world, other than those that are ruled by a sovereign country, what parliament in the world do you have where the sovereign's representative can pass laws without Parliament doing so as well? So all of those persons who talk about they want to do this, they want to be that, I want to remain under the UK government, remember that those decisions, they come with certain caveats in place, right? Our Parliament is not supreme. We are governed not by ourselves. What do they call it? Internal self-government. Internal. That means the internal affairs of the country. Yes, we have some say over that, but even that can be overruled in terms of the reserve powers as well. But they call it internal rather than full self-government. They may use words and say full internal self-government, but it is not fully self-governing as well. With that, no, we don't take a commercial break during this time, right? We just, continue on as well. Yep, we go right on until 1:30. So, what else that may be interested in this release as well? It says that contrary to the often articulated notion, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council expressly confirmed in paragraph 38 that the Parliament is created by our Constitution, and this judgment is hence a victory for all persons. Our Constitution sits above Parliament, protecting us all, and is the mechanism by which everyone's rights and freedoms are to be measured and upheld. So, again, not seeing a whole lot of feedback about this. Those of you who like to brag and say, I didn't support the implementation of the Constitution anyway, despite the fact that, 62% of the voting population voted in favor of our Constitution. Please just bear in mind that while you may have personal opinions about civil partnerships, gay marriages, and things of that nature, bear in mind that one day, it is quite possible that one day you may have your civil rights, your constitutional rights, your human rights violated by a government entity, and may need the same protection of our Constitution and our courts as well. So don't ignore what has taken place simply because the case that brought this decision, you don't necessarily agree with what the case is all about, the subject of the case. You don't necessarily align with that. It is more the principle rather than the particular subject that we should concern ourselves with. Now, some of you may have heard also that in future negotiations with the UK on some amendments to our Constitution, that the government of the day, at that time, the government at that time, came pretty close to renegotiating Section 81 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009. We are made to understand that after the then governor, was forced to intervene and pass the civil partnership legislation in 2020, that is when the United Kingdom government pulled back and basically decided, we're not going to go ahead with this, because here we see a classic example of where that reserve power has to be used. And it could be used after consulting with the Premier, only consulting, not, with the advice, acting on the advice of the Premier. After consulting, all the governor has to do is consult with the Premier. And I believe, if I'm correct, I'll have to check that out, that consultation can take place before or afterwards. If the governor deems that it is necessary to take immediate action, take the action, and then later on, consult the Premier, but not required to act on the advice of the Premier. So we ended up with a civil partnership still, right? Legislators of the day can beat their chest and say, well, just like the death penalty issue years ago, they can beat their chest and say, yes, I stood up and I ensured that I didn't vote for it. But you know what? It still happened. But what we may have lost in the process was the removal of some of the constraints of Section 81, which would have probably brought us a little closer towards full internal self-government. Of course, all of that won't happen. There are issues, for instance, like having the Premier preside over cabinet. That's what takes place in Bermuda. But they will tell you that Bermuda's constitution was a pre-independence constitution. That's why they have that there. Well, Bermuda is still not independent. And if it is working over there, why can't it work here and in other overseas territories, as well? I still don't believe that we put up a strong enough argument for that. And I do believe that we can also use some leverage with the United Kingdom, especially when there are certain international obligations that they have to adhere to and that they have to ensure that we adhere to as well. Why don't we say, well, why don't you ease up on this little issue here? And, we can go along with some of the other issues and save you from some embarrassment for those who say you have no control over your overseas territories. But again, the big question is, how many political office holders that we have that are real negotiators, international negotiators that knows about the quid pro quo and being able to get something if they're going to give something, as well. Hopefully we will get some politicians like that one of these days, some of these youngsters, coming up and, will be able to take strong negotiating positions as well. I just don't believe that we have pushed hard enough. I know, for instance, that at the end of the constitutional negotiations, before the 2009 Constitution was put in place, at the last negotiations in London, simply didn't have enough time to do it. And maybe we should have given ourselves more time, not have a dateline in terms of when we wanted all of this to be completed as well. That is why also the whole issue of advisory district councils was basically put in there and say that we need to make a law that established advisory district councils, because didn't have a whole lot of time to discuss it. By the way, I just mentioned advisory district councils. Of course, the new government has only been in place 2 months now. That's right, April, May, June, yeah. But not only the new government, but all of those who are not part of the government as well. What about these advisory district councils, even if they're ad hoc ones that have been established just until the legislation is put into place? We heard a whole lot of talking during the campaign period. Like I said, it's only 2 months since the whole parliament has been elected now. But when, folks, when are we going to hear about advisory district councils? Another basically low-hanging fruit as well. And it should not be left to the government, the administration. That should involve all parliamentarians. Why don't we get a private member's motion in relation to advisory district councils? Don't forget now, promises were made. Some of you are in a position to deliver on those promises. Some of you may argue and say, well, we're not part of the government, so we really can't deliver on them, but you can still do your part. Get those private members' motions going, as well. That's how you get things done. I do believe we have a WhatsApp message. Let's see if it has anything to do with what we talk. I don't know what this is all about. Oh, this is sort of a... I don't know. Person says, may the Almighty God remove the chosen people from these shores before he sinks these little islands. I don't think that's going to happen. I do believe that even with all the challenges that these 3 beautiful islands may have, there are so many things that we have that are going our way as well, and so many more that we can make them go our way as well. We just have to be dedicated, and we have to put our nose to the grindstone and get it done. There is so much that can be accomplished here in the Cayman Islands. This person says, yes, I'm very excited to hear about the advisory district councils. Would love to hear about them, but I've been looking forward, to hear more about it as well. Yeah, let's see, what's happening with that. We know that many politicians, either the groups or the individuals as well, they had their various committees. Have they disbanded those committees, or those committees are still functional? And could those committees form the basis of an ad hoc advisory district council while the legislation is being prepared, being rewritten? We know that some of the challenges have to do with whether or not it should be done at the district level or at the constituency level. Those are all the things that need to be discussed as well. But just felt that I should ask the question as well. Folks, we have to go to a commercial break. I believe, do we have our guests are with us as well? So we will have representatives from the Health Services Authority in the studio when we return. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Get ready, the fire of revival is coming. It's the great evangelistic campaign, Cayman Islands under the power of the Holy Ghost. Guest speaker Apostle Jose Duarte from Paraguay will be ministering throughout Grand Cayman, bringing a powerful word and the anointing of the Holy Spirit. Services begin Friday, June 27 at First Assembly of God and run through June 9. Don't miss the services in West Bay on June 30 and July 1 at Heritage Park, and in Bordentown on July 3 at Public Beach. Come for healing, come for breakthrough, come experience the power of the Holy Ghost. For full schedule details, call Sister Vilma Hawkins at 923-8954.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy.
Janelle? From spring break, oh wait?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Adelaide, what it is you have there in your hand looking at so intently on this porch?
These your shipping out papers, Paul. I saved them all these years. Don't know why.
Yes, they are important things that tell the story of us seamen. All the places we went and all the sacrifice we made.
And we sacrificed too. No man to help us manage the home, the grounds, the children. That was hard work. But what a joy it was when Annie came home.
Boy, Adelaide, we were brave people, you know, stepping off of this beautiful rock onto the edge of the whole wide world. And you all here suddenly becoming financial managers and overseeing construction. Some strong women.
We set this country on the map for sure. Every bit of our modern foundation came from seamen's allotments and women's hands. I'm so excited we're going to be celebrated on July 10th at the Voices of the Sea, launching the Cayman Seafarers Registry. Come on, let's go pick out what we gonna wear. This can be a real figure. A good old time.
Celebrate Cayman at the Cabinet Office cordially invites one and all to come out to Voices of the Sea, launching the Cayman's Seafarers Registry to celebrate our seamen and our proud history of seafaring. Thursday, July 10th, 5:30 p.m. at the Veterans and Seamen's Association Hall in Cayman Brac.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm your guest host. My name is Orrett Connor, and on this segment of Talk Today, we will be talking about the training and development of local nurses here in the Cayman Islands. I will invite our listening and viewing audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to our WhatsApp number. That WhatsApp number is 925-3261, because we will be unable to take any phone calls, but we can certainly slot your questions or comments in to the discussion that we will be having with representatives from the Health Services Authority. So first of all, I'm going to say, ladies, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you.
And I'm going to have you introduce yourselves to our listening and our viewing audience, and talk about your role at the Health Services Authority.
So my name is Stewart, and I'm the Director of Nursing.
My name is Martika Williams, and I'm currently the Shift Coordinator at HSA.
I'm Dawn Kuzemski, and I'm the Senior Nursing Leader in charge of Professional Development.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about why is investing in training and development of Caymanian nurses so critical at this point in time. We know that worldwide there's a demand for nurses. We see many countries that had a huge nursing complement. The brain drain starting to take effect because they're being spirited, if you want to call it that, spirited away by more robust financial offers and other things, as well. So the competition is out there. Why is it so important then for us to train locally?
So, Health Services Authority, we employ about around 1,300, almost 1,400 individuals. And with that, we have over 630 Caymanians. So we are definitely committed to developing local talent. However, one of the things is that in terms of clinical, we are really interested and have taken steps to develop our local workforce in terms of nursing. We do have a degree program in nursing at UCCI, and we use that to build our local nursing force. And you're correct. The International Council of Nurses have already predicted that by 2030 we will have a shortfall of more than 10 million, 13 million nurses worldwide. So therefore, everyone in terms of countries are trying to build local workforce, and where they can't, to try and import nurses. So it's important for us to build our local nursing workforce, and we are committed to doing that. And it's important that when we build our local nurse workforce, we actually impact the healthcare of the country. So for us, we are very, very we are very, very dedicated to ensure that nursing stay as a priority, because we do help in making sure that the nation remains healthy.
Okay. Anyone else want to add to that? Feel free to do so. Feel free. Okay. So, and of course, the Health Services Authority, must then play a huge role in shaping the future of the nursing workforce in the Cayman Islands. While we do have other medical institutions in the Cayman Islands, I'm not aware of any of them that actually have an on-island training program. Is that am I correct in assuming that?
So except for you have a physician program that and they just start. They do a few years here, which is I think is St. Matthew. In terms of other clinical roles, nursing, we have a degree program. So it's an entry-level degree program. So that is one of the best programs that we have on island that features healthcare workers. So definitely we have to protect that, and we have to make sure that we nurture that quite well.
And how long has this partnership between UCCI and the Health Services Authority been going on?
So actually, I'm Dr. Asa Brown, our past chief nursing officer, was very instrumental in this program at UCCI. So she worked with UCCI, helped UCCI to actually bring this program on in 2013.
Wow, okay.
And the first cohort, which Martika is one of the first cohort of nurses, came on and they graduated 2017. And then by 2018, we had them in the transition to nursing program. So this has been going back from the very inception.
Okay, so Ms. Martika, since we have invoked your name and you were one of the first cohorts, tell us about that and tell us about your role now at the Health Services Authority.
Okay, so of course we were the first cohort of the nursing school. My cohort had about 10 nursing. All of them had successfully passed the regional board exam. Out of the 10, 8 is now employed at HSA. However, my role at HSA, I first started off at the surgical ward nurse. I've been there for 5 years before transitioning into a shift coordinator. My role there now is practically like a supervisor of all the staff once the nurse manager or the senior manager has clocked out at 5 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. I am grateful for this role. I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot of leadership as well since being in this role.
Okay, I'm Stone.
Yeah, it's gone on. The program has gone on every year since then, except for a very small cohort over COVID. So maybe I can describe the program a little bit.
Sure. Yep. Go right
All
ahead.
right. So we get our graduate nurses every year. They pass the 4-year program that is the BSN Foundation program at UCCI. And then they write their board exams in October, and then they come to us. And HSA has developed, with the help of Dr. Karen, some dedicated positions to bring those transition to practice students in. And it is a year-long program where we try to build capacity for those nurses. They spend 6 months in med-surg, and sometimes people ask, well, they've graduated from this program, and why do they need to do this? And nursing is very, very complex now. There's a lot of equipment. There's a lot of, compared to, sorry, Dr. Karen, I'll speak for you. When
Yes.
Dr. Karen and I graduated, patients are more complex. Some of the patients that we see on the medical surgical units used to go to ICU back in the day, many years ago. And so we need to make sure that all the theory that the nurses learn, that they can carry that to the bedside in a very effective way and deliver really good care. And there's small things like, as students, they don't interact with physicians a lot. So coming into practice, there's that multidisciplinary relationship that needs to build over that period of time. And so they're preceptor-led. They have a buddy for that whole first 6 months, and they gradually increase the number of patients that they look after and the complexity of patients that they look after. And then in the second 6 months, they're able to go out and experience month-long practicums in the different specialties. And, that helps build their comfort at the bedside, really cements the excellence of their care, helps them with that initial leadership and proactiveness, advocacy that nurses need, and sort of develops all of those skills over that year long, and introduces them to some specialties that they might want to carry on into later, like critical care or maternity, those kind of things.
Yeah. Now, I have heard that nursing has reached a point now where a lot of the functions that a doctor would normally perform, that nurses are now, are now doing that, as well. Whether it is designed that way or otherwise, I would expect, I would ask you to speak to that if you could.
So you do have some specialty, such as the nurse practitioners, and you're correct. Because of the shortfall of physicians worldwide as well, in some countries, and even our curriculum, and that is why we start the curriculum at a degree level. Back in the days, as Dr. Dawn would say, for herself and myself, we would have done like a certificate course or a diploma course. Now we start in our entry-level nurses at a degree level. And that is because care has become more complex. And so things that maybe in the past, and then that you would have seen complex in the past, we have realized that could be included in a nursing curriculum. And so there are some specialties like nurse practitioner. They are not physicians, but they take on some advanced roles. So in nursing, you do have a lot of advanced roles now that you did not have. And what that does is that improve the capacity for that country to actually be able to provide health care, especially in rural areas, to their people. So yes, you're correct. But it doesn't mean that we're not, but we are still not doctors. We are nursing, and our foundation is built on nursing. Maybe the procedures used to be seen as only doctor-led. But as I said, times have advanced, technology have advanced as well. And so nursing are now being moved to do doctoral program in nursing as what Dr. Dawn and myself has done. And so it enables us to think as scientists and to also think think in ways that we can use to really improve the healthcare for our nations all over the world.
Okay. Ladies, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we want to talk about how the placement of UCCI nursing graduates into the HSA has impacted both the student and the organization as well, what sort of impact it has had, as well. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
Get ready, the fire of revival is coming. It's the great evangelistic campaign, Cayman Islands under the power of the Holy Ghost. Guest speaker Apostle Jose Duarte from Paraguay will be ministering throughout Grand Cayman, bringing a powerful word and the anointing of the Holy Spirit. Services begin Friday, June 27 at First Assembly of God and run through June 9. Don't miss the services in West Bay on June 30 and July 1 at Heritage Park and in Bordentown on July 3 at Public Beach. Come for healing, come for breakthrough, come experience the power of the Holy Ghost. For full schedule details, call Sister Vilma Hawkins at 923-8954.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about the training and development of local nurses here in the Cayman Islands. We're talking with representatives from the Health Services Authority, Dr. Karen Stewart, who is the Director of Nursing at the Health Services Authority, Ms. Martika Williams, who's a supervisor, nursing supervisor, and Dr. Dawn Kuzemski. Did I get that right? Kuzemski. She's here with us as well. So we're going to talk about how this placement of the UCCI nursing graduates into the HSA has impacted both students and the organization. And I don't know if it's too early, No, I guess it's not too early in the program to talk about retention levels as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So could we talk about that also? Yeah.
So it is, and so this brings about the importance of ensuring that your local workforce, in terms of nursing, that we continue to support it, because the retention rate for our, in terms of our local nurses, it is 99%. Oh. So our nurses stay here. In terms of, and our nurses, even when they go overseas to do specialist courses, they return. And the reason why I said it's 99% is because we still have one who is overseas and she's studying, and we hope that she will return. She's doing her master's, but it's a specialized program.
Okay.
So it is important that she actually go and do that overseas. But our nurses are returning, and that's what is important. Think about when you have an hurricane. You may have persons who want to go back home because of things that are happening and the concerns that their family have. But the nurses that we invest in locally, in terms of ensuring that our UCCI and nursing school is at its optimum, they will stay because their family is here, and they want to give back to their economy. So UCCI and HSA, they do have an MOU, and that MOU is just to help to strengthen the partnership between both the hospital and UCCI, and to ensure that we are able to help to prepare our local nurses. We prepare them, as Dr. Dawn said, to provide high quality nursing care for our patients. And yes, this partnership, what it does is ensure that there's a seamless transition from the nursing school into the clinical setting. And so we're very proud to have that partnership.
Okay. And you mentioned one student, and I don't necessarily have to call her name, but I'm sure that there must be other or several success stories, from this program as well. Can you relate some of those to us?
Yes, we have many success stories. Even the recent return of the Eloise Reed Award demonstrate how successful we are, because Shanique was chosen as a nurse of the year for that award. It demonstrates to us that we are building our nurses and that they are being seen in a good light out there. I want to say that every year we have a cohort. So we mostly have a cohort of 6, and this year we have increased it to 8, which is really good, because that means that we have always have a place for our nurses to come. We have other success stories, because our nurses go overseas, they get additional training, as I said before, and they come back, they return, and they are impacted. And they impact the lives of the people when they come back with those additional knowledge. I want to say that the other thing is that we have our nurses, local nurses, and Martika is one, who have, since graduation, come up in terms of promotion, because they have consistently continued to study and to increase those leadership qualities that we try to build within them through education and also through mentorship. So we do have lots and lots of success stories.
So, Ms. Martika, how has your experience motivated you in terms of what you do, and your drive for excellence and your drive for higher achievements as well? And what brought you into nursing in the first place? What
Good question. So as a child, I've always loved healthcare in one way or the other. I'm just a story where every time my mom used to say, "Oh, there's an accident on the road," I just used to get into the car and go with her. And I think that drive my passion for nursing. As I got older, that passion stuck with me. And when the schools opened up here in 2013, I was so happy that I didn't have to leave Cayman to go and study. And I was like, okay, it's here. I want to be here. I'm going to study here. So those 4 years, it was tough, but I made it to the end, and I'm here now at HSA as a nursing supervisor. Dr. Brown, Hazel Brown, she paved that way for me, as well as Dr. Karen and the nurse manager from surgical medical, and all the other unit managers, because they didn't have to mentor us and the staff there, so they took their time out of their busy schedule to mentor everyone that graduated from UCCI and took us under their wing, showed us the ropes. And I'm so proud of that, and I'm so happy that they were able to do that for us. As Dr. Karen said, nursing is not an easy task. However, with the TTP program, it showed us that you can have a supportive team once you are on the same board, with everything. And I appreciate that was implemented to us. As for some countries, they don't have this program, and that's probably why they have a higher turnover of graduate nurses. So this program has allowed us to be retainable here in Cayman. Yep.
Okay. And does the HSA, as far as the instruction at UCCI is concerned, do you participate in that as well in terms of lecturing, or they have their own faculty for that purpose?
I think it's kind of a combination now. As the program has expanded, you've probably heard Dr. Karen and Martika talk about specialty, and as the program has expanded, one of the things that's happened in transition over the last couple of years is that the UCCI graduates have been able to go to specialty units like behavioral health and pediatrics, and in the past it was mostly just med-surg. And so they do utilize our staff to help with some of the, especially the specialty instruction in the program, and that's actually going to increase this coming year. UCCI will have the biggest group of nurses ever coming into the program and progressing through the program this year. And so they have asked for help from especially some of our clinical people that are specialists in pediatrics, in NICU, those kind of specialties. And then myself and some of the other leaders also help with things like supervising the clinical exams when the graduates are finishing up their program. We help in the interviews into the program and just sort of give our clinical perspective. So it's very, very much a partnership throughout the entire process.
Great. And I think I have about a minute and a half before we go to our headline news at 2 o'clock. But do we still celebrate Nurses Week in the Cayman Islands? And
Yes,
how important
yes.
is it in recognition of Nurses Week as well as the awards that the graduates get? How does that contribute to morale, positivity in the program?
Positively it does. And May the 12th, we celebrated at the HSA, and of course, I must say that not just this year, but last year, we actually got external persons and companies to actually sponsor us. Credit Union sponsored us last year for our launch. They sponsor us this year as well for our launch. So we have to say a big thank you to them. We also had Ale Thompson, who really helped us this year, and 2 other persons who do not want to be they want to remain anonymous, but we had to tell them thanks. So it made us realize that, and last year also Burger King helped us as well. So I just want to say that persons do recognize our worth, and when we have Nurses Week and Nurses Day, we do have persons and companies that come aboard and say thank you for all that you have done. It's very important for us to recognize the work that nurses do in the Cayman Islands, because we do a lot for the Cayman Islands and for the people of the Cayman Islands. So that's very important to us. We do have the Clinical Ladder, which is a program that it rewards nurses who decide that they want to do more in terms of their development and in terms of their leadership growth. We also have charge nurse development programs. So it's important to us to see our nurses grow. And so the Health Services Authority have invested in that growth. And to that, all of us say thanks to them and to all those external companies and persons who have come on board to say, well done. We appreciate you.
Great, excellent. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Dr. Karen Stewart, who is the Director of Nursing at the Health Services Authority, Ms. Martika Williams, who's a nursing supervisor, and Dr. Dawn Kuzemski. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride.
And I'm going on.
Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Kids joining the Cayman school system for the first time need to get a health assessment as a part of the entry process. Health screenings for all students will be at the John Gray High School Medical Center and the district clinics from July 9th through the 15th of August. Appointments can be made online through a link provided by the school your child will be attending or from the Public Health Department. In regional news, the Trinidad and Tobago Senate has passed the Prime Minister's Pension Amendment Bill, requiring at least 1 year in office to qualify for a state pension and introducing a tiered structure based on time served. The law is retroactive from the 10th of March 2025. While government senators secured the 3/5 majority needed, opposition PNM members abstained, accusing the bill of targeting ex-PM Stewart Young. Senate President Wade Mark condemned attempts to pressure legislators. Critics, including independent senators, raised constitutional concerns over the bill's retroactive and potential ad hominem nature. In a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court backed President Donald Trump's request to narrow nationwide injunctions on his executive orders targeting birthright citizenship, sending the matter back to the lower courts. The Haitian Bridge Alliance condemned the move, warning it jeopardizes protection of children of immigrants, including 150,000 born annually. Advocates like Guerline Joseph and leaders from NYIC, the CBC, and NY Attorney General Letitia James criticized the ruling as a threat to constitutional rights under the 14th Amendment. The core legal question remains unresolved. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have about a half an hour left to go in the program this afternoon. We're talking with representatives from the Health Services Authority. That conversation is taking place about the training and development of local nurses here in the Cayman Islands. We're talking with Dr. Karen Stewart, Miss Martika Williams, and Dr. Don Kuzemski. So, ladies, I'm made to understand that the Health Services Authority has recently entered into into an international partnership for mutual learning and partnership as well. Can you speak to that a little bit? Tell us about that undertaking.
Yeah, so we actually, the Cayman Islands Health Authority, the Cayman Islands are very welcoming for international partnerships. And I just want to say that, we accept students that are in sort of all levels of nursing. Obviously, there's medicine as well, but we're talking about nursing today. They come from Canada and the U.S. and, other partnerships as well. And we always get the feedback about how helpful, what a mentoring environment we have. And so that's really great. This year was kind of a hallmark for us because the students that came from the University of Michigan were exactly advanced practice nurses, so the kind that we talked about before. So we had students come that were enrolled in a master's of nursing practitioners. So that was great. And we had nurses who came who were already registered nurses and doing their master's in midwifery. And there's certainly amongst our local nurses has been a lot of interest in developing, they would like to specialize in midwifery. And so there was lots of interconnectedness. It was great because the University of Michigan nurses also were here over Nurses Week. So there were lots of events going on and lots of opportunity for our local young nurses to interact with those students that came. The nurse practitioner students actually worked with our GPs, with our physicians, because they are at that level. So they buddied with the doctors. And I know that, the introduction of advanced practice nursing in the Caymans is on the ministry's radar for sure. And HSA, of course, is very supportive of that because it's just a different avenue of growth for nursing other than just, leadership roles. So there was lots of conversations between the GPs and those nurse practitioner students about what that would look like. And those university students had the opportunity as well to go out with the physicians for home care visits, and that was incredible.
Wow.
Because they were able to see what the Caymanian culture looks like, and obviously it's really enriching for the students who come because they need to experience something other than their own healthcare system, right? It helps them grow, gives them perspective, some cultural competence. So it's really important.
Yeah. I mean, in other disciplines, in sports, for instance, we always talk about, you can play locally, but when you get into the international arena, you get that experience out there. It makes so much difference in terms of your progression as well. So I would imagine the same thing, here. And any plans for some of the students here to do similar things overseas as well?
Well, that's our next frontier, is talking about how we can make that partnership work in the other direction. So 2 big partnerships are the University of Michigan, and we also have students that come from the University of Prince Edward Island in Canada. And Dr. Stewart, I know, is very interested in having a reciprocal relationship, so maybe I'll let her talk about that just a bit.
Dr. Stewart?
Yes, and so we're looking at that as we think about introducing specialist program. We're looking at how we can actually commence locally a specialist nursing program. So we're looking at the work, because it will take a bit of a work. And I must say that we the Chief Nursing Officer, Mrs. Felicia McLean, I think she's quite interested in that as well, so that will be helpful for us. We do have other universities such as James Madison University. I remember their doctoral students and their master's students coming to us, and they still want to come to us. But I remember during the JCI, as we were coming up to JCI accreditation, when they came on board, and they came for the same experience as Dr. Dawn was talking about, that international partnership. But they really gave us some insight into some things that could make us successful. And those are the kind of things that we want to also happen for our nurses to go overseas, to partner and to see what that overseas care look like, what does that look like in a different context, what does that skill look like, and then to come back with that growth and share that among their peers. So I think that is coming up. We definitely putting our heads together to work on that. Mm-hmm. So we look forward to that very much so in the near future.
So Dr. Stewart, you mentioned the JCI accreditation,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes people will think, well, you get a certain amount of people to send in kudos about you, good things about you. This isn't what that type of accreditation is about. Can you talk a little bit, both of you, talk a little bit about that JCI accreditation and what it means to the Health Services Authority in our hospital?
So the Joint Commission International is an accreditation that many hospitals try to achieve. It actually paved the way to improve, to demonstrate that you care, mm-hmm. and your care also, it emphasizes on some key areas such as quality care, not just nursing care, medical care, but overall the care and the patient experience at that level where the patient is quite happy. It also ensures, through you meeting some measurable elements, prevention of potential harm to your patients, and ensure that your practices and your processes and just the very foundation is built up on good health outcomes for your patient. And that is looking on not just the people who you have, but are you having the right people in the right place? Are you providing the right care at the right time to the right people? So it encompasses a lot of different pillars. And at the end, the patient benefit a lot, because when they see that signature onto your name, onto the hospital, what they're thinking first is that we will provide that excellent care, which is what people want. And if for some reason we didn't offer that to their expectation, what are our service recovery processes and our improvement processes to make sure that we reach that level? Mm-hmm. And that was what JCI is really about.
Okay. Dr. Dawn, anything you want to add to that?
No, I was involved in Joint Commission International previously in the Middle East, and it's a brave undertaking for any health authority. There's 1,152 measurable elements that have to be met in order to get that accreditation, so it's not a small undertaking. And I think it just really shows that you want an environment where there's constant improvement for your patients and families.
Okay. So we know that many people see nurses at the bedside, but there's so much more happening behind the scenes that people don't typically see. And now also, I guess depends on where you are within a hospital. Sometimes you may not see that white hat and that white gown. It may be different attire as well. And that speaks to the working environment that you have created for your employees as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So behind the scenes, in nursing, so we talk about nursing doing their doctoral program, so that and those doctoral program, it creates not just nurse scientists but also nurse leadership, and also nursing who are involved in policy contribution. So it helps. You have specialties in, as with Dr. Dawn, clinical development, which is all about education and ensuring that that atmosphere is set. We see, so it's not just at the bedside. Behind the scenes, we have leaders who contribute behind the scenes in many ways. In research, we do a lot of research in nursing now more than we used to do. And also those researches are causing us to have a different approach to healthcare and to how we do healthcare, not just in nursing, but in other fields. And in nursing, in terms of who you see behind, so it's not just policymakers, but even contribution in terms of outcomes and in terms of finances to make sure that we are giving our patient the best outputs as well in terms of money, because we are also budget keepers. So we look at the finances as nurse managers. We ensure that that we are providing that financial oversight. So nursing is very, very wide. And I'll just hand over to Dr. Dawn because she has a lot of experience in how wide that is as a clinical leader in terms of education. And so her input, it would be really good to also add to that as well.
First, we're going to take our last commercial break, and then when we return, we will hear from Dr. Dawn as well. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. We're in the last leg of the show this afternoon. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor, and in the studio with me, we have representatives from the Health Services Authority talking about the training and development of local nurses. In the studio with me, we have Dr. Karen Stewart, nursing supervisor, Miss Martika Williams, and Dr. Don Kuzemski. So we, I think, Dr. Stewart, you were going to ask Dr. Dawn to further contribute to what you were talking about before as well.
Yes, I was just doing that because I know she has so much to offer.
I just actually wanted to tie what Dr. Stewart was saying to the Transition to Practice program. And we do very early on in the program, the nurses, as they go through their year, are responsible to identify an element of care or new research that could be applied in HSA. And they develop a project around that, and they make recommendations for how we can change practice, and then they actually present that to their nursing colleagues during Nurses Week. And from that, we've had some really good quality improvement programs that have come out. So we do try very young to tie our nurses to those other roles that we're responsible for critical thinking, for systems thinking, and always looking at, how we can use quality to improve the processes that we have. I just wanted to give a quick example, too, that, we're out in the community more than people think. Recently, just last week, one of our nurse educators was asked to go to Scotiabank and present. They had a colleague that had a seizure at work, and they wanted education about how they would manage that if something were to happen in the future. And one of our nurse educators, they had 28 people from the bank that attended that session. Wow. And so we do like to reach out into the community, and that we're already involved in the schools and public health and all those kind of things. But I think nurses do fill gaps in a lot of places that people don't traditionally think of us being.
Okay, so we know that, again, nursing is one of the noble professions, as well. Miss Martika, you can be held up, as a role model for other Caymanians wishing to enter the field, or may not even be thinking about it. What would you say, to them who may be on the fence about choosing nursing as a career, and also to point out that it is nursing is gender neutral, as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct. So what I'll say to a young Caymanian, or even an older Caymanian who wants to become a nurse, is start somewhere. Get your qualifications. I know UCCI, they have a great program. Like I said, I've been through there. And if you want to, just find information on UCCI, or you can even reach out to Dr. Dawn or the Director of Nursing, which is for UCCI, which is Quita Johnson. They can give you more information on how to enter the program. I think the program starts every September. And if I remember, is May they start to take applications for the program. And I would say go for your dream, follow your heart. And nursing is a very great profession. It helps you develop as a person. It helps you develop patience and caring and compassion towards your family and towards the patient and their family. Nursing have taught me a lot of patience and ways to manage conflicts in what probably, and when I was a teenager, I would not use these skills. So these skills can not only be applied to the bedside, but also in your personal life. And so if you want to become a nurse, go for it. The dream is endless. Nursing is endless. The opportunity is endless. So reach out to UCCI for more further information to get on how you can start to become a nurse.
Okay, as a follow-on to that then, how can the community or parents or schools, policymakers as well, play a bigger role in supporting the pipeline for local healthcare workers in the Cayman Islands? So, because we talk about the competition that is out there, every jurisdiction is basically looking for this particular skill set.
Yes. So even at the Health Services Authority, we have programs. So we have done the health care aid program, and we have several persons who have come through just that 3-month program and then decide that they want to do nursing. And we support them through it. They will still be doing their work. We help them as they go through it by supporting them through it. Even HSA, they do take part in helping SciFec as well, because SciFec does a healthcare aid program, and we accommodate them, we help them. We also have summer internship program. That's a great way to get on. So right now we have summer interns. When the summer interns come, they get experience by just being there, and they see what we do. It helps to increase their interest, and things that they may, or professions that they may not have thought about. They were like, what do I need to do to get into this? And so that's a great way that the Health Services Authority has been using. We also have the volunteer program that we also offer as well. And one of the other things is that you ask, how can the community and policymakers, so policymakers can help by supporting UCCI nursing program. I know that they offer scholarship, but we don't mind for them to offer more and more persons to come on board, because we know that the course is not cheap. So the students who are going through that program, they do need the help to make sure that they can complete the program. So it's important that policymakers help with that, and that companies come on board to help. Another thing is that you can invite us to your career fair days. We're happy to come and to showcase nursing and how you can, and what that looks like. We now have some work doing with Ashley Shillingford Foundation, and that program is looking at how they can get the student in the high school to be interested in nursing as a career. So we're working with them to even do to use simulation, because if persons know what that feels like by doing simulation, they might also get interested. So yes, and parents, you can talk to your children. Start early. Ask them what is it that they're interested in, and then you can guide them with that. So let's say a child say that they're interested in going to the healthcare field. You know that they would need to do science and not just accounts. So that is how you can guide them, because you don't want until when they reach grade 11 or grade 10, they're just starting to do the science subjects, because it means that after they're finished, they will have to do some more work. So that is the way, and get them involved. You can get them involved in volunteers. We always need volunteers, not just in the hospital, but also if we're doing outside program, at the public health fairs. Get your children involved in that, and so it helps to build them, and it helps to also help them to identify if they're interested in going into healthcare. We need more children to be interested in going to healthcare, period. Having nursing here locally make it easier for many to get into that healthcare. So we ask our policymakers and definitely our community, so those business places, to invest. And you can start by investing in one child at a time, one person at a time, even going through UCCI. So I'm making sure that UCCI, because that's where the program is, we need that investment in there as well.
Okay. Dr. Dawn, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's very thorough.
And the fact now that, you have nursing practitioners, so you don't just become a nurse, but you can go beyond that, where the sky's the limit. How much more attractive is that, to the program and the profession?
I think the fact that nurses will always want to advance. We are kind of an ambitious group, to be honest. And I think that the nurse practitioner role gives the opportunity for nurses to advance in clinical practice rather than some other arm of nursing. Okay. And I think it's needed as well, because, in almost every country in the world now, general physicians, family physicians, we're trying to have more and more focus on primary primary health care, preventative care, those kind of things. And we don't have enough docs or enough time to be able to do that well. And so nurse practitioners can definitely help with that. So it does give a different avenue for nurses that are interested in that. You have the practice of a doctor, but still the heart of a nurse.
Yes. Okay. I want to give each of you an opportunity for some closing comments as well. So, Dr. Dunn, we'll start with you since you had a mic last.
Okay. Well, thank you for having us here today, and we're just really proud of the work that we're doing with local nurses and the benefits that it has for the community. So we're going to continue to try to move all of that forward.
Okay. Nurse Williams?
Thank you for having us here today as well. Like I said, reach out to UCCI if you want to become a nurse. It's very endless. It's a nice, noble profession. Just follow your heart, become a nurse.
Okay, Dr. Stewart.
So it is so critical and important that we invest in our homegrown nursing talent, because that strengthens the healthcare infrastructure within our community and within our country. So I just want to say it fosters and it really create resilience within the country itself. So we want to say to everyone out there, recognize excellence, help us to recognize the excellence of our nurses through rewards, through partnerships, and also help us. The HSA is committed to having structured program, and we do have that because this highlights the value of nursing and it builds trust in the Cayman community.
Okay, I want to thank you all for being here as well. I know that time went too fast. So much more that we could talk about. And also want to thank you and your colleagues at the Health Services Authority for all that you do to help to keep the people of the Cayman Islands healthy, keep them safe, and, when they're not healthy, then to, nurse them back to health, as well. Thank you all. Folks, I want to thank those of you who joined us this afternoon. I want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and we should extend a helping hand to them. And if you want to extend even a helping hand even further, then you may want to think about becoming a nurse. I've added that into my closing comments today. So, if you can't do that, then I suggest you support, contribute to a local charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. I welcome you to join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 on For the Record. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.